Hello there, and welcome to the very first episode of Tatooine Tableflip. My name is Jimmy, and today I'll be looking at Arkham Horror, the card game from Fantasy Flight Games. Arkham Horror is a stylish, scenario-driven card game for you and up to one other friend, where you each assume the role of daring, ordinary folks who have taken it upon themselves to investigate the weird goings-on in the town of Arkham, Massachusetts. If this sounds familiar, it's because the whole universe is based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft and his expansive Cthulhu mythos. Each player has his or her own deck of cards they'll be playing from, affording your character investigative prowess, weapons or other stranger equipment, or even the ability to draw upon otherworldly powers. But take care, because in Arkham Horror, everything is either trying to kill you or drive you insane. And here's where the game starts to shine. Most games have you amassing victory points in a mad struggle against your friends to see who wins in the end. In Arkham Horror, everyone is working together to try to save the world from the coming of an ancient evil. Playing cooperatively allows everyone to participate in a common goal, which I love. Gone are the days of me against you, now it's us against the game. Brilliant, right? And here's where we get to the meat of the thing, the theme. This game is simply dripping with theme that unfolds over the act, agenda, and encounter cards, with a little bit of flavor text sprinkled here and there throughout. My first playthrough of Night of the Zealot, the campaign included in the base set, we didn't read any of the cards in advance. We simply just let the game unfold as we played through, making for one of the most compelling and satisfying gaming experiences I've ever been involved in. See, I'm a fan of the mythos, so I'm kind of an easy sell. But that doesn't mean a game can be lousy and expect me to enjoy it, just because someone took a cool theme and jammed it up its game side. Arkham Horror is a stupefyingly well-designed game system that lends itself so well to this immersive, scenario-driven, almost RPG-like gameplay. We've even taken to adding background music while we play, something I'd never done before. It really helped to evoke the feeling that we were chasing evil in the 1920s, the period of time that the game is set in. It was, as the kids say, creepy as fuck. The game comes with these location cards laid out in kind of a map. You take your investigator token and you move from location to location, interrogating witnesses and gathering clues. Once you and your friends have enough clues, you can spend them to advance the top card of the act deck. Once that card is advanced, it generally does something beneficial for the group. What you're trying to do is activate all of these cards in this deck, thereby winning the scenario. This is done in a race against the game, which every turn is placing Doom tokens on the agenda deck. And what that allows the game to do is also to activate their cards, generally doing something really nasty to the group. If the game advances all of their cards before you advance all of the act deck, you lose the scenario. What's really cool about these two decks is that if you lay them side by side, they make kind of a little book that if you read from one to the other tells the story, even when the cards are advanced. It's really slick, which brings me to my next point. The campaign. Holy cats, was this a great idea. Night of the Zealot, the initial campaign included in the base set, is broken down into 3 scenarios, each driving the danger and tension that your investigators face up, leading to an absolute bonkers climax. I'm not kidding. A really cool RPG-like aspect of the game is that in between each of these scenarios, you're allotted experience points that you can spend on bigger and better cards, swapping them out in your deck on a one-to-one basis, giving the whole game a little bit more of a personalized feel as the campaign goes along. There's even a degree of accountability built in, as every decision you make in the game could potentially alter your health, your sanity, your deck, or how the next scenario is even set up. Coupled with the wider range of investigators included in the base set, this really lends a lot of replayability to Arkham Horror. And one of the coolest things about the game is that there's an absolutely perfect scaling difficulty system built in that allows you to adjust the level of, oh Jesus, we're all doomed-ness. The Chaos Bag. Crocheted by my mother. These are the Chaos tokens. See, during the course of the game, you're going to be required to make checks against the stats on your investigator card, those numbers across the top. And instead of rolling dice, you're going to be reaching into the Chaos Bag and drawing out one of these tokens. Now, depending on the difficulty level you've set for the game, you might have a few tokens, you might have many tokens, there might be high numbers, there might be low numbers, and there's positive and negative modifiers included in here. You're also always going to have some of these symbols, like a broken ancient tablet or a skeleton head. Oh, scary. Also included every single time is going to be the Elder Sign, which is an auto pass for whatever check you're trying to make, or the Tentacles of the Old One, which does bad things to you. Each of these symbols are referenced by this card here that tells you what effect they have on the game. What about the components, you might ask? Well, the game includes these standard size playing cards that have a fairly nice finish to them. I think they'll hold up pretty well under repeated plays. I've been playing the game a lot and I haven't noticed any wear on mine, though I did sleeve them to help maintain the length of their life. The cardboard tokens are all fairly beefy and probably will hold up pretty well with repeated plays, with the exception of the Chaos tokens. And I say this because the Chaos bag is shaken and drawn out, and so they're handled repeatedly throughout every single game. You might take steps to try to protect those. From what I understand, there are some plastic coin protectors on the market that fit those perfectly. Included in the game also is the Learn to Play guide and the rules reference. The Learn to Play guide I found to be really concisely written and very intuitive, and we were playing the game in just a few minutes after reading. The rules reference contains expanded explanations of rules in case you get stuck or you can't really get your head around something. It also answers questions like effects, timing, and that sort of thing. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine. See, I'm stuck with this tiny box. I love the artwork on this box, and I want to store all the components to the game in the same box. Unfortunately, once we get a few expansions out, this tiny little thing is just not going to cut it, and we're going to be forced to consider alternate storage solutions. And that, kids, sucks. Gameplay runs from 1 to 2 hours per scenario, which makes for a tidy gaming session should you have other games you'd like to get to that evening. Setup is pretty easy, as you just follow a set of symbols dictated by each scenario that are printed on the cards. Unless you don't have your cards sorted very well, and then setup is going to be fairly lengthy. I love this game. I've been playing it a lot. From its really tight rule set all the way to the RPG-like gameplay, this game has earned its space on my gaming shelf. Thanks for watching. I'm Jimmy, and if an old one hasn't devoured the world by then, I'll see you next time on Tatooine Tableflip. Bye.